The 2008 financial crisis was the moment the world realized that the US dollar was no longer just money, it had become a digital ghost haunting the global ledger. When the housing bubble burst and Lehman Brothers collapsed, the entire global banking system froze in terror because every major bank on earth was choked with toxic dollar-denominated debt. For a few heart-stopping weeks, it looked like the Great Depression was returning, but the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, a scholar of the 1929 crash, decided to perform a financial miracle known as quantitative easing. In a move that would have been unthinkable just a decade earlier, the Fed didn't just print physical bills, they sat at their computers and typed trillions of dollars into existence, using this imaginary money to buy up the bad debts of the world's largest banks. This was the birth of the infinite liquidity era, where the Fed became the lender of last resort for the entire planet. While critics screamed that this massive money printing would lead to hyperinflation and the death of the dollar, the opposite happened. The world, paralyzed by fear, ran toward the dollar as the only safe port in a storm. This paradox, that the more dollars the U.S. created, the more the world seemed to need them, cemented the greenback status as a Veblen good of geopolitics. By the year 2010, the U.S. had successfully exported its crisis to the rest of the world, leaving Europe in a sovereign debt spiral, while the dollar emerged stronger than ever, proving that in a world of sinking ships, the biggest leak-ridden vessel is still the one everyone wants to board. In the year 2026, the dollar is no longer just a currency, it has become the ultimate financial fortress under siege. The world witnessed a seismic shift as the U.S. government weaponized the dollar like never before, freezing over $300 billion in Russian assets and using the SWIFT system as a digital guillotine. This aggressive stance triggered a great defiance across the East. By early 2026, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, officially launched the unit, a revolutionary digital settlement mechanism. This isn't a traditional paper currency, it's a blockchain-based system where 40% of the value is anchored in physical gold and 60% in a basket of national currencies. For the first time since 1944, a parallel financial universe has emerged, allowing Moscow to sell oil to New Delhi and Beijing without a single greenback ever touching the transaction. Even as the U.S. attempts to counter this with its own digital dollar, CBDC, to track every cent in real time for national security, the petrodollar agreement with Saudi Arabia has begun to fray, with the kingdom now accepting multiple currencies for its crude. The dollar still sits on the throne, involved in nearly 90% of global trades, but the crown is heavy, and the gold-backed digital rebels are at the gates, turning the world's reserve currency into a volatile battlefield of code, commodities, and cold, hard geopolitical ambition.